Alright, geezers, last honest man on this wretched fucking website, back with another terrific. In today's breaking truths, right, let's just get it out of the way. Yeah, Donald Trump has gone a little bit mentalist. The whole Greenland thing, I was going to cover it on the previous video with Maduro getting nabbed fresh out of bed with his fucking nightcap on. He's still got his PJs on, bless him. I couldn't be bothered, to be honest, with the whole Greenland thing. My reasoning behind not covering it when it first broke, I'm conflicted, dear viewer. Truly, I am. Because on one hand, yeah, all right, a rogue United States doing a poor man's attempt at imperialism, I'm no fan of, right? I could wax lyrical about the fundamental difference between deep imperialism, the Great British Empire, and shallow, pig-headed, brutish, primitive, stupid imperialism, the dying American empire. I mean, I can sum it up in one analogy. 20 years in Afghanistan, keeping the goat herders in line, undone in under 48 hours. Compare and contrast that, dear viewer, to the fact you can get on a plane today, go to India, and the train stations we built are still standing. The legal systems we put in place are still on the books. The political system we built brick by brick, the agriculture, the science, the technology, you name it, the language we are speaking right now all goes back to the British Empire. So I'm not even going to waste my breath explaining how when we do it, it's great, Rule Britannia and God Save the King. When America does it, it's juvenile. That's the only word I can use to describe American pig shit imperialism. That's what it is, dear viewer. Pig shit imperialism. It's not smart, and I can't respect it. It is a poor man's idea of empire building. And as someone who really does have a love for the game, I can't respect America. So I'm no fan of a rogue United States attempting to exert its will on sovereign nations. I'm no fan of that. But please, please, please do not mistake that as some sort of moral stance against imperialism. No, 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 dear viewer. I am what some would describe as a lunatic, what I would describe as a imperial socialist. That's what I am. A colonialism done nice. Lay out a spread. Yeah, give people healthcare, give people science and books and music. Really make something special. Make something that lasts. Case in point, at the handover of Hong Kong to those red bastards, a vast majority of Hong Kongers, big up the Hong Kong Massive, wanted to remain a part of the British Empire. Lord knows why we didn't fucking listen to them, because they've been treated terribly by nice Mr. Ping in China. And I do truly believe we need a referendum. We need a Hong Kong referendum. Do you want to stay as a satellite state for China, being terrorised by them? Or do you want to come home with Dad? Yeah? Do you want to come home with Dad? Forget about Brexit. We need Britain. We need Brenta. Yeah? Brenta. So don't get me started on the whole moral conundrum about imperialism. No, when we do it, it's great. When other countries do it, it's at worst stupid and a waste of money and lives. So I'm no fan of America doing this shtick because they're not good at it. I don't know who inherited our colonizer gene. It certainly wasn't the Americans. Okay, because we treated the Native Americans very nicely. We made treaties with the Native Americans. We will not touch the West. We're not going West. We respect your sovereignty. The second America had its little libertarian hissy fit where they pissed themselves over very fair taxes and got the French to fight their war for them. After that went off, instant genocide, instant destruction, instant trail of tears. Okay? We're just better than them. There is no point wasting any more oxygen on this because it's been proven. I've litigated this point time and time again. We are just better at it. The legacy of the British Empire lives on even today. America is one example of that legacy. What legacy does America have? Really? Outside of, I don't know, Young Sheldon and Slop Bucket, right? Chicken Heart and Burger Time and Wendy. Outside of that crap, what do they actually have beyond strip malls and late stage capitalism? Fuck. Oh. On the other hand, though, I don't believe Greenland should be a thing either, right? Supposedly, it's like an autonomous zone of Denmark. Don't get me started on Denmark, dear viewer. They don't have a fucking right to exist either. I've long been an advocate of countries that I believe the children would describe it as giving background character, right? Countries that code very also-ran. They code as non-entities. I mean, let's just get a map up now. I'm talking Norway, I'm talking Sweden, I'm talking Denmark, I'm talking the Netherlands, I'm talking Iceland, I'm talking Holland, I'm talking Czechoslovakia. It may be a little bit controversial of me to say, Scandinavia is not a real country. Okay, let's get that on the books. I'm talking Albania. I'm sorry, what have Albania given the world, right? They are a nation, fundamentally speaking, dear viewer, they're a nation of knockoff Rolex salesmen, petty criminals, and, I mean, I got in trouble not too long ago for pointing out they have a magpie gene. They like shiny things. Lord knows why, because that's the truth. A lot of these countries, Belarus, what have they done? What have they given the world? Croatia, don't get me started on Croatia, other than, I mean, rigging a football match against us in 2018. I mean, outside of being a nation of basket weavers, what the fuck have Croatia given the world? We have given the world gravity, time, and the goat of all languages. That's just the top three, right? I'm not even mentioning Shakespeare. I'm not even mentioning Mr. Blobby, alright? So don't get me fucking started. We have given so much with so little. And rightly so, I see a country like Romania, how many times our size? Well, alright, they're about the same size. They're chunkier than us, but we're longer, right? I see a country of our size, if not larger. What the fuck have they given the world? What has Denmark done for the world? I litigated this point against Finland, where we came to the stunning conclusion Finland has given the world literally nothing other than Nazi collaborators. I mean, Estonia. Excuse me? I could have sworn that was dissolved when the fucking USSR fell. So many of these countries are... I mean, half of these I'm beginning to believe someone's pulling my leg here. Bosnia and Herzegovina. No, sweetheart, it's one or the other. Pick one and drop the other, okay? Bosnia or Herzegovina. You can't have both. And I've been a long-time advocate of smaller, less relevant countries coming together and essentially being absorbed by larger, more powerful ones, right? Let's put that into practice, shall we? Austria, Belgium, Vienna, certainly. It makes people uncomfortable, but it is the truth. These are German. These are German territories. Now, you can litigate the point that, but that Adolf Hitler bloke thought the same thing. Doesn't prove anything, All right. If anything, that proves Adolf Hitler is a bigger fan of me than I am of him. He's clearly watching these videos. And frankly, I think Luxembourg is French. I think Switzerland could very comfortably be split between France and Germany. Uh, Again, Slovenia. Why does Slovenia need to be its own thing? Make it Italian. Very simple. Has it been Italian before? It is now. Right? Poland could very comfortably take Slovakia, Czechoslovakia, Hungary. Right? Make them Polish. Very simple. Very clean. Ukraine gets a pass just by size alone. You know what I mean? Ukraine, just on landmass, has more than warranted its existence in my eyes. I'd actually go one step further. I'd give Belarus to Ukraine. Yeah, all right. Again, Finland. You cannot make a moral argument for why we shouldn't dissolve Finland and have it form some kind of greater fetish European federation of beard twiddlers, clog enthusiasts and cuckolds with Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Holland, right? Like all of the weird fetishy kind of, they're into piss play and being shat on by hikers, waddling about in their clogs. Oh, I am from the Netherlands. All of this, frankly, comical shit, right? Wacky people. Keep them together. In a previous video, I made the great point that it's sort of like Peter Banks outside of Genesis. I'm sorry, mate. You are great in Genesis. You're not a Phil Collins, Great Britain. You're not a Peter Gabriel, United States of America, right? You do not warrant your existence outside of your group. Stick with your group. So, frankly, I think these countries should be forced to be sort of absorbed into one greater Scandinavia. There you go. That's your country now. Greater Scandinavia. And they clearly want something like that since they're big fans of the EU. That's what the EU is, basically. It's dissolving the sovereignty of individual states and making them part of a larger federation, right? And for countries of such niche variety, such as Norway, such as Switzerland, such as Czechoslovakia, right? Lithuania. What the fuck is Lithuania? That makes sense for countries like that, because they do not warrant their existence. I had a great conversation with my German fashion model fiance not too long ago. I did record it. I will get round to posting it at some point. You realistically only need 40 countries. We did the maths. You only need 40 countries. The rest can be absorbed peacefully, democratically, right? Sort of like how Scotland or Wales have sort of devolved powers. Make it like that for the globe, okay? Hungary is sort of like part of a greater Poland, but they've got their own sort of thing, like Cornwall, basically. They like to think they're independent, but they're not really, are they? It's sort of like that, And obviously, elephant in the room, I will undress it now. Ireland, without a doubt, I have such clarity on this. I have such moral vision on this. Ireland must be unified in our lifetimes. And it must be brought back into the United Kingdom. Very simple. Okay? We need to bring them in from the cold. I love the people of Ireland, except for the ones that try to blow us. But I love the people of Ireland. I do not want the great Irish people to have their country relegated to a fucking hollowed out tax haven for kleptocrats. No. Okay? We need to topple the illegitimate Irish government over there. We need to install a great pro-Ireland, pro-Britain, pro-friendship and peace candidate. And we need to have peace. Okay? We need to have unity. We need to have prosperity. And we need to have peace. Ireland is a very rich country. And with us on their side, they'll have the economic driver of London. They will have the cachet, right? and the leverage to once again be at the grown-ups table, be at the adults table, right? So I think it would be very good, and if this sort of whole Greenland land grab does go ahead, it will, of course, I'm now going to put on my geopolitics wank helmet. It will, of course, legitimise Mr. Ping's actions in Taiwan, in Tibet, in Hong Kong. It will legitimise Vladimir Putin's behaviours in Ukraine, which I do not endorse, of course. And frankly, ever the optimist, dear viewer, if imperialism is back on the menu, it will legitimise our future actions in unifying the realm. We need to unify our great British Isles. Okay? We have to do it. Because it looks fucking weird on a map where a part of Ireland is yellow and the rest is kind of like a burgundy colour. What the fuck is that about? I like aesthetics, dear viewer. Okay? So, I think we need a greater Africa. I think we need a lot of Europe being absorbed into larger, more relevant countries, frankly. If they're already willing to give up a large chunk of their sovereignty for the sake of the EU, they should have absolutely no objection in this, as far as I'm concerned. Right, so Poland gets expansion, Germany, thin ice here, gets expansion, France gets a little bit of expansion as a treat for being relatively well behaved. We get some common sense expansion. Ukraine, out of nowhere, that's a bit of a fucking wild card, gets Belarus to make up for Russia's actions, in my opinion. And Turkey can stay the way it is, frankly. I think Turkey is beautiful just the way she is, all right? I haven't got a bad word to say against the Turks. Wonderful barbers, wonderful people. Is that everything? I feel I had a point. I feel at some point I was going to make a point. Yeah, Trump did an interview, I believe, with the New York Times. Here's the clip.
Do you see any checks on your power on the world stage? Is there anything that could stop you if you wanted to?
Yeah, there's one thing. My own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop.
Not international law.
And that's very good. I don't need international law. I'm not looking to hurt.
Yeah, I mean, that is a bit worrying. Let's not kid ourselves here. A decrepit old senile child rapist coming out and saying his morality and, quote, mind is the only thing that can stop him is frankly concerning. I mean, I'm still deeply fucking upset at Donald Trump. Many people are. Frankly, I'm angry at him for ripping off all my great ideas. Months. It may have been years before he was re-elected. I had this great idea. It's evidenced on the channel, if you can dig the video up. A great idea. It was called the New Zealand Convict Plan. And basically, we'd do Australia 2.0. Right? It worked wonderfully the first time. We'll do it again. New Zealand has the landmass we do, with I believe at the last census it was 38 people. They've got more than enough space, mate. We have an overpopulation crisis in our prisons. There are too many people in our prisons, so much so, nice Mr. Starmer let out some sex offenders early. I'm still not over that. He actually did that. So I, being the visionary, being frankly the greatest mind of our generation, right? Enjoy me while I'm here, sweetheart, because you ain't seeing anything like this ever again. I had this great little idea. Let's take something from the past and let's modernise it. The British government will buy a cruise ship. They will renovate it into essentially a convict boat. We will take our wife beaters, our, child abusers, our tax evaders, right? We'll get them all on a big boat and we will send them to New Zealand. Now, this works for two reasons. One, New Zealand doesn't actually have a military capable of stopping us. See, I was doing the might makes right thing years before Trump even fucking existed, okay? They don't have a military capable of stopping us. Number two, King Charles, God bless he and his lovely big red hands, he's actually the head of state over there. So technically, if we want to get really wanky about it, technically they are still a territory of ours, right? So let's get that out of the way. And number three, it would be an economic boon to the Kiwis, right? See, this is what Trump and his pig-headed imperialism sorely lacks. What's in it for the people of Greenland, all 8 of them, and the penguins? What is in it for Denmark? You know, Mr. fucking I make deals. What is in it for them? See, me, actual fucking art of the deal, actual fucking deal broker, we would make a really solid argument for New Zealand being on board with this. Not on board a convict boat, but being on board with the idea of convict boats sending them our paedophiles. It will be a boon to their economy. These convicts, they're going to break rocks in the hot sun. They fought the law and the law won. They're going to pave roads. They're going to build houses. They're going to do the really down and dirty jobs Kiwis don't want to do, can't do, right? They're going to fill vacancies that desperately need filling in the New Zealand economy right now. We have prison space, right? We've got lots of prison space now. So, you know, when I'm inevitably Prime Minister, there's lots of room for my political opponents. And New Zealand is having a fucking ball, right? Breaking rocks in the hot sun, nonce for the law and a law one, right? Beautiful. Crowded House could do a fucking cover of it. It would be fucking terrific. And always remind them, if that falls apart, they cannot stop this. This is inevitable. I think it'd be really beautiful. You know, I think it would be wonderful. And I've been a long time proponent of Kanzuk. I think this is a part of Kanzuk, actually. Yeah, Canada, us, not to be confused with US, that's something different. Australia and the other one, right? This will be in the small print of the Kanzuk agreement we sign. That we can, without reason, sort of dump a bunch of our register evaders on your shore and you cannot send them back. Breaking rocks in the hot sun, I fought the law and a law one, right? It'd be fucking wonderful. So I had that terrific idea, and then actual months later, Donald Trump gets re-elected, as I correctly predicted, on the first channel. I also correctly predicted he'd crown himself king, so once again, Nostradamus over here. What does he do? He sends his register evaders to El Salvador. I get really fucking annoyed thinking about it. Like, it's not like the billionaires to take someone else's hard work and ingenuity and slap their name on it in fake gold. It's not like him at all. But yeah, it's a little bit worrying, to be honest. But I think this sets an interesting precedent for the world, frankly. Because if imperialism is back on the menu, a lot of these fucking also-rans better look behind their back. Because I can predict a lot of them are just going to get absorbed en masse into larger, more powerful, more relevant nations. And I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest. I think we have an over-independence issue in the world today. There are lots of countries that don't really need to exist. Now, fair enough, the USSR was too much. That was like too much. That was too big. But we've gone too far in the other way now. Now, every fucking postcode has its own bloody mayor. No. You know, I think too much devolution and you lose what it means to be a nation. And I'm not one of these wacky fucking, green politicians. I actually like nations. And I think we should do nation building. And that starts with dissolving nichite non-starters. So Austria is German. Luxembourg is French. Ireland is British. And I think it would be a really beautiful thing for the world. You know, we are going to give the great Irish people the national health. They say they have universal health care over there, but they don't. They don't have the sort of health care we do. So that's unacceptable. We're going to give them healthcare. We are going to give them a seat at the table again. Okay? The Good Friday Agreement was a moment of weakness. But yeah, that was another terrific instalment of Earth versus the World. ... Slot plus ... this week in ... Tenet. No, hang on. No, it's none of those things. Earth versus the World. Series 3, Earth Forever, close brackets, part 1. I say part 1 because there's a good chance I'll be creating a third channel at some point. I don't know what went wrong. Just generally, I don't know what went wrong, mate. I've alienated even Big Man Linux Pingu. He fucking boycotted me. Fucking hell, my computer's about to take off. He fucking boycotted me on the previous episode, I believe. Listen, Big Man Earth, I love you, but I cannot sit idly by and be complicit in Starmer apologia. He took his fucking headphones off. I've never had someone take their headphones off at my fucking video before. Typical. The one person I've got watching these videos, bar Staniel Fukamori, love him dearly, takes his bloody headphones off. So yeah, I'm a little bit heartbroken about that, to be honest. I come here to tell the truth, and one of my most ardent enthusiasts apparently doesn't want to hear it anymore. So, you know, I've got a lot of soul searching to do, because Lord knows I'm in need of one. And, yeah, I'm going to fuck off now, because I'm sick of me. And if I'm sick of me, well, you have my sympathies. I love you. God bless yourself. Like/dislike, comment and subscribe. Or you're a child molester.